Doc Loves the Kids, a local Kitsap County nonprofit organization established in 2015, whose mission is to provide activities, programs, and community support for at-risk youth.
They put the U in community.
Doc Loves the Kids.
Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy,
where we give you the courtesy of conversation
that's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in with us. Don't forget to catch us every Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time on the Friday Fix. And every Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific time on the Sunday Town Hall. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us again. We had a big hiatus. We was out and about doing things.
Yeah, we definitely was out about making it happen out there. So we really appreciate everybody sticking with us, man. There's so much news that we need to catch up on. So let's just get to it, man.
Yeah. So student loan borrowers in default faced garnished wages. The Education Department will soon begin collecting payments for student loans that are in default, including through wage garnishment or potentially millions of borrowers. The department announced Monday. Beginning May 5th, the Education Department will begin involuntary collections through the Treasury Department offset program, which claws back delinquent debts by withholding payments such as tax refunds, federal salaries, and Social Security benefits. More than 5 million borrowers are at default, and 4 million more could be in the same position in a few months, which would put nearly a quarter of the federal student loan portfolio in default. According to the Education Department, less than 40% of borrowers are current on their student loan payments. In the next 2 weeks, those in default will receive emails informing them the next steps and urging them to look into repayment options. Wage garnishment notices will be sent out later this summer. No federal student loans have been referred to collection since March 2020, when President Donald Trump paused payments and interest accrual during COVID-19 pandemic. The Biden administration extended that pause, which ended in October 2024.
Yeah, this isn't good for anybody. I had a friend of mine kind of talk to me about the situation too. He was like, this is the same thing when Biden did this. It was kind of like when he went against the Supreme Court to help people with their student debt. It's like the same thing as Trump going against the administration and trying to keep the guy down in El Salvador who wasn't supposed to leave the country. I says, no, it's not, because you can always come back and charge people again. Get this money back out of people like they're doing right now. Yeah. You can never take that time away that he spent down in that prison down there, or any of these prisons outside the country, or any of the time he spent away from his family. But the fact of the matter is, but you're trying to draw a parallel between educating the public and helping people who want to educate and grow our society versus drawing a parallel about a person who's basically trying to hurt and harm people. I don't see any kind of victory that we get out of taking people and making people pay things back and taking money away from Americans who went to further their education. You see, China is enacting policies to keep people make their citizens become more educated. We're seeing like we want to take education away from our people. Like we want to dumb down America for some strange reason, but we all know what that reason is.
Everything's for sale. That's why they want to get rid of the education department, so they can privatize it all. But you have to understand this too. You took out a loan. You didn't, because they didn't teach you about the loan when you were coming out of high school. Told you needed this loan. It's a predatory loan. You're getting basically what you're doing. You're waiting until Americans turn 18 and then telling them to make more money. You have to get higher education. And to get higher education, that means you have to be in debt for the rest of your life. It's crazy how that's the whole goal of the whole offset of this is to keep Americans in debt. So you're constantly paying money to these corporations. Think about it. If they made it where they should set it like, if you do like a pay as you go thing, it's like, hey, I'm borrowing $100. Cool. You're going to owe us $120. It should be a flat interest rate.
I think you shouldn't have to pay for higher education in this country at all. Yeah. We should be wanting to educate our people. I don't understand how people don't understand that one day a plumber is going to be done for. One day, every one of you guys who work with your hands are going to be replaced. It's the human minds that will not be replaced.
Well, that's a trade job. That's a trade job.
Like those jobs are also, those are the most of the people who are angry about who's not being, you got free student loans. Oh, you're not paying back this.
Well, I'm upset about it too. It's like,
I look at the strongest
pay my car loan.
That has nothing to do
with pay my house loan. What's the difference?
You're just not educating yourself. You're not that's not adding value to society, man. I don't see any, me personally, education, healthcare. We are a society that we're behind, man. We're out the country in other countries. They got free higher education for their people there too. Yeah, you could pay for it. They got free healthcare for their people too. Yeah, there's varieties that you could pay for as well. But man, that's where we should be. As a society, why are we trying to lag behind? I don't think his of course he wants to privatize. Yes, it's for sale. But bigger than that, people who voted against him are the people who are educated enough to understand that his policies and people like him are bad. He's an educated person. Elon Musk is educated. All these people have gone to colleges. Everyone who's JD Vance, they've all gone and gotten higher educations. But they want to take them away from our kids.
Yeah,
the people who are like us.
Everything's for sale.
I mean, okay. That's one thing, but at the same time, they understand that. Okay,
look at medicine, bro. Look at medicine. They have all the medicine in the world to cure you, to cure anything, any ailment you have right now. But there's no money in the cure. There's no money in giving people free stuff. Think about it. We're run by greedy corporations.
I understand what you're saying.
I'm just saying that's what it is. But these people, you also have a choice. Like I had a choice. I'm like, hey, we're going to give you this much money if you want to go to college. I'm like, I don't want to go to college. I'll figure it out. I'm glad I didn't.
To me. Me personally, I would much rather have more educated people in this country. That's why I know this country. This is why we're in the proverbial as we are. This is why we're there, because we have a lot less educated people in this country versus other countries. That's just a fact, man. But less educated people do less educated type stuff. Period. They just do. That's why you got more killing going on here, a bunch of other things we got going on in this country. You can't have guns here hardly in this country because you got too many people who are just dumb and will go kill. You got too much ignorance in this country. That's the problem. People are like, we want to blame and look at education as a negative thing. That's crazy to me. That's why people can't have civil debates. That's why they rather turn into like negativity and hate. That's why we're heading in this direction that we're heading in. Yes, they want to privatize it and take the money into the private sector. I get that. But bigger than that, they understand that if you're dumber, you're more gullible and easier to persuade and to basically bend to their will. That's how I look at that whole situation with them.
I mean, if you think about it, you kept people uneducated and they voted on like one policy things this last election, right?
They voted on hate. Go ahead.
Yeah, but it was hate. Period. That's all it was. Period. Plain and simple. It was hate. But they voted on it. You know what I'm saying? Now they're kicking themselves. They were like, well, I didn't vote for that. I didn't vote for that. Well, you did. You know what I'm saying? And so, but I'm saying like let's get back to the topic. When it comes to student loans, you signed up for that stuff. Now, no one told you to major in English literature. You know what I'm saying? Like you should have got a major. You should have got a job. You should have majored in something that's going to make you money.
Do we feel like that's what it is? Or we just feel like America as a whole doesn't pay people enough money, period. We have to look at the middle class, and
I watched a gentleman get chased down the street.
Decimation of the middle, that the whole middle class has been decimated.
I saw a gentleman get chased down the street by a restaurant owner because he didn't tip 18%. And tipping is not mandatory. People are like, well, you shouldn't be eating out. I'm like,
the fact of the matter is the middle class has been decimated, man. So just for them looking at them like, oh, you became an English major, but they don't want to pay teachers that well in this country either. We don't want to pay educators. We don't want to pay for your education. We don't want to pay educators. We want to blame the Department of Education for everything. There is a problem in this country. That's what it is, man. It's not the fact that a person went and took English literature, because most of us can't even barely speak English. You know what I mean? Let's be real here. Let's be honest with ourselves. That's the issue here. It has a lot less to do with people and their decisions of going to college to educate themselves. That's a great thing here. We applaud people who want to go to the military for service. Thank you for your service. We're so happy that they want to go to the military and die for this country, when I can much rather use an educated person to figure out a way so we don't have to go to war. We don't have to send in troops to war. Give me that. I don't want to send in our kids to war. I'd rather send in some drones. That's what you do. Use a person's brain, don't use their body. That's the point here. It's weird to me that we'll use that dynamic. This dynamic is strange in our country, but it's really not, though. It's because the people with the money, don't get me wrong, I'm not against you, but if you're smarter than the people without the money, this is the outcome that we'll get.